Webinars remain a super popular tool for marketers to use, but very few low budget, or I should say low resource marketers are using them well or often. So I want to give you a practical guide on how to do a webinar.
Funnel Vision is brought to you by Math Marketing, creators of the Funnel Plan. Math Marketing is the source of the 1, 2, 3 of B2B.
So there's loads of content on why webinars are a good idea. I want to get very practical and talk about how to do a webinar. And so I began by Googling the very expression that I'm presuming to write about, how to do a webinar. Here's what we found. There were 4 articles that I started with. I'm going to synthesize each of those 4 articles. And for us, it actually comes down to 8 steps, which I'm going to give you right now, and then argue why those 8 steps. Let me start with the 8 steps that I think you need. Create clear roles so that everything gets done. Make your topic saleable and searchable. Promote it widely. Choose the right platform and absolutely nail it so that the technology doesn't become too visible. Get all the mechanical things right, kind of the same point I guess. Track everything so that you learn. If you're paying for promotion, use UnBounce and optimize your pages really well. Otherwise, send all of the traffic for registration to your own site. Let me explain why those 8 points. Just to remind you of the format, I'm going to take a look at the top 4 search results for how to do a webinar. Then I'm going to synthesize them, so I'll take a quick look at each, 30 seconds. Then I'm going to synthesize the 4 of them together, and then I'm going to recommend what the 8 steps are and why. So first one, create and host a webinar for free using Google Plus Hangouts. Why would that be at the top of the Google results? I wonder if there's a clue there. Interesting. Anyhow, cynicism aside, Steph, Gonzaga, thank you. Here are her 5 steps. Create a Hangout on air. Customize your webinar with trailers and apps. I think it's a great idea. Invite your audience to your webinar, yeah, of course. Using lots of tactics, and she's given some specific recommendations about how to do that, assuming that your webinar's on Hangouts on air. Broadcast your webinar, and then edit or download your recording onto YouTube. Very practical steps. Thanks, Steph. Next one's from Mary Jaksch. I think I know how to pronounce that because we have a footballer playing for Carlton who is Christian Jaksch, and I've learned that that's the pronunciation of his name. I hope Mary's pronunciation is the same. So this one's another Google Plus biased post. There's a pattern going on here I'm interested in for another day. It was really hard to extract the conclusions, long form content rather than practical punchy how-tos, but I think she's arguing these points. Create a topic by reviewing your top 10 most popular blog posts. I reckon it's a cracking idea. That's a good idea, by the way. Run your webinar on Google Hangouts on air, again, and again she's given some practical steps on how to do that. Follow a blueprint, and her blueprint is 5 minutes intro and personal story, 25 minutes on the main presentation, and 10 minutes for Q&A. Kind of practical, I guess. Create buzz, and she's given some steps on that. Next one I want to review is from Treanor. So his steps are, make a registration page. Now he's particularly looking at how to make a webinar using free or inexpensive tools. So some of his recommendations are assuming you don't have a platform. You'll see later on I'm going to suggest you never run a webinar other than on a proper platform. However, let me get to that. Make a registration page. Maybe have an opt-in box on your site. He suggests use a Weebly site. That's a free website tool. Frankly, his recommendation could have been more generic. Make a free site if you don't have a site that can handle this, and there are sites that will do that if you Google for it. Or use the optimized Press WordPress theme, or the Premise, which is a tool for WordPress. Long story short, make your site able to accept registrations. Send the emails, and he suggests MailChimp, Aweber, and Constant Contact. They're pretty popular tools for sending emails. Use a webinar platform. GoToWebinar, AnyMeeting, Fuse, and Instant Teleseminar are the 4 that he lists. Have a backup plan for recording. I reckon it's a great idea. ScreenFlow if you're a Mac user, Camtasia if you're a PC user, just to record it in case everything goes AWOL. Really good suggestion. Use a presentation tool like PowerPoint or Google Docs or Keynote. Well, I don't know how else you're going to do it. Find a way to sell something. I hate this idea. PayPal or Google Checkout. Selling on a webinar, unless that's your whole purpose of the webinar, and I've seen people do that really, really well. I hate them, but they are successful. Unless that's your approach, then forget this. Final one, follow up by email using whatever tool that you've chosen for your promotion. Practical steps. Final one from Gini, Dietrich. 14 steps to hosting a successful webinar. And there really are 14. I'll go through them quickly. Choose a topic and a headline that has great search potential. I reckon that's a great idea. Set up the webinar with your provider, whoever that is, and she's listed BrightTalk, GoToWebinar, Adobe Connect and WebEx. They're all good tools, by the way. 3, create a landing page on your website or blog. 4, create a list of tactics you're going to use. Now, this is actually good. I know this is detailed. Bear with me. I reckon there's some magic in the detail here. Create a list of tactics was step 4. Step 5, create a different link for each tactic. Why? So you can track them. Now, she's mentioned Google URL Builder. You can use any web URL building tool that you want. Great idea, though, to track each tactic. So 4 and 5 are a pair. Shoot a 1-minute video. Another great idea. Shoot a 1-minute video to describe what people will learn in the webinar. 7, distribute a news release. 8, if you have a newsletter, include the webinar in the email 1 month prior. 8 and 9 are kind of a pair because in step 9 she says send 4 emails. 1 a month before, 1 3 weeks before, 1 week before, and 1 the day before. Good advice. Think about social media, post it on social networks, write a blog, test Facebook and Google ads, and send a postcard to your database as a sort of old school tactic. They're all pretty good. Let me synthesize those because I think it comes down to a few identifiable steps. So just to remind you, I'm going to synthesize what they've said, then I'm going to add a twist to it and come down to our 8 steps. But let me first honour their content. So here is what we think they've said. Choose a topic and consider a wrap-up of your most popular blogs is a great way to do that. Choose a platform and set it up. Make it saleable. So choose a really compelling headline, make it search optimized, create a trailer, that's all about making it saleable, promote it broadly, track the promotion of each tactic, create registration if your platform doesn't support it, deliver it, and then promote your recording separately. Now, that's all pretty focused on the how to, not whether you should, a webinar, and I'm going to stick to that format. But we do need all of that to come together, and there's a few of those suggestions that I don't like, and I want to give you my spin on it. So to come down to what we think you should do to run a webinar, or if you like, how to do a webinar, comes down to these steps. I'm actually going to draw on not only those sources of content, but one more that I haven't referred to and I'm not going to summarise now, and it's from Funnel Wiki, which is a wiki that we create and promote. And there are some really, really practical steps on there that have been synthesised from 6 authors on how to do a webinar. So I'm going to draw a couple of ideas from that, then what we've just summarised, and then my own spin on it down to 8 steps. So from the wiki, create clear roles to make sure that everything gets done. Use active engagement throughout the webinar. Don't let there be any passengers. That's where the presenter actually engages with the audience. Really, really good tactic. Promote it widely and often and get all the mechanical things right. Super long list. But based on what I read researching for this blog, I'd also add 3 things. Choose the right platform and master it until it's seamless. Make your topic saleable and searchable, and track everything and learn from each webinar. But there are 2 other quick tips that just occurred to me as I was summarising this. If you're paying for promotion, use UnBounce for page optimisation, and otherwise do all of the promotion to your own website, whether it's referral, search or email or some other tactic. Have them go to your own site. You want to keep them on your site. You want to consider using some sort of integrated package like FormStack for your form fill or your registration, and use Optimizely to test registration formats. That is where you can do A/B tests. Long story short though, keep them on your own site. So let me restack those from the various different sources into the 8 practical steps. Number 1, create clear roles to make sure that all of the steps get done. Number 2, make your topic saleable and searchable. 3, promote it widely and often. 4, choose the right platform and master it until it's seamless. 5, get all the mechanical things right, and there's a long list of that. Number 6, track everything and learn from each webinar. Number 7, use UnBounce for any paid promotion. And number 8, use your own site for referral, search or email traffic for your webinar. If you haven't already, why don't you subscribe so that we let you know when these blogs are produced. We do them every week. You can get a reminder in your inbox. If you go to mathmarketing.com/blog or go to youtube.com/mathmarketing, you'll get to hear about it first. And if you have already, but you've got colleagues who haven't, I'd be super, super grateful if you'd share the love, let others know about this blog. If you find it useful, your colleagues will also. That's it. I hope you found that really useful. Lots more coming next week. Until then, may your funnel be full and always flowing.